Good afternoon. Welcome again. This is the last keynote session of the spring seminar. Thank you for being with us until now. It's a great pleasure to have with us Sergei Loznitsa. I've been a fan of his films for a lot of time, so it's a pleasure to meet him again. Actually, we cross paths in Vila do Conde, where Sergei already shot a film in the north of Portugal that you should also see. It's a very nice film. So to present very briefly, Sergei Loznitsa was born in Belarus, but went to Kiev in Ukraine, where he spent his teenage years, and he is graduated in. Let me see. He graduated in engineering and mathematics. I think this is really interesting also to see in the path of his work. And he was a scientist in the Institute of Cybernetics. In 1991, he applied to the Russian State Institute of Cinematography in Moscow, where he graduated in production and direction. He has been making films since the late 90s. This biographical note says that he has 22 documentaries and 4 feature films. When the team of Montagem came the team of this seminar, we immediately thought of Sergei, mostly because of his appropriation films, if I might call it, and the way also that his films re-edits footage from past and previous times. Most of the times, maybe Sergei doesn't know who filmed them, but re-editing this footage, we can better understand our present and our pasts. And it is around those archival films that Sergei will also speak right now. Thank you, Sergei.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. So we have 1 hour, 15 minutes. It's not a lot not to explain everything, all this ocean. This is why I choose for today one short film, which made from archive. And I would like to add to your introduction that I made already 26 documentary and 4 feature. And have in my mind this kind of more or less amount for future. So, and I think I'm in the middle on this. Yeah, no, it's okay. Thank you. Nice, feel this. So. And from the beginning, we probably have to define what we mention archive as archive. For me, it's a very interesting question. When we start to count footage which we received as an archive, from which year? From the beginning of 20th century, middle of 20th century, 60s, 80s, where there is border, or from yesterday? That the one person who is the chief of the big archive in Russia, he said that everything which shot already, it's already archive. So, and I accept that definition. Everything which this camera shot me, it's already archive from the moment when it's done. So, and after that, the concept of archive, which we use, connect with time. When somebody will say it's an archive film, you're immediately saying that, it's something which happened yeah, many years ago. So first archive film, I made 8 or 9, I didn't remember yet. The first archive film I made in St. Petersburg when I work on this studio in St. Petersburg. I don't have idea to make anything from, but it happened when I just moved and just passing through the studio, and my editing place was close to the archive place where the studio keep films. And the archivist, he just recording for somebody archive from the Leningrad siege, the blockade of Leningrad from the Second World War, 1941, 1943, 44. So, and I saw first picture, just and staying and watch this on TV, and it was like 4 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, a whole archive, 6 hours. And after that, stop working, just, so it was so impressed me, what I have seen, without sound, it's important. I think 2 years after that, if it's possible to make a film about, I watch all films which was made in Soviet time, because they made dedicate to the siege every year a few films, and all films was about victory, about how we, suffering, and after that we won. Was no films about just destiny of people and city. And the first idea, if I make this kind of film, I would like to first structure, construction, how I will build that, and what kind of rule for that. I exclude immediately a voiceover, which explain us, because everybody can open book and read about that. And we recreate completely sound for this footage. And in this case, you stay in front of this image with a sound which help you to, not to hear the coffin of the neighbors, people who are sitting in the cell, and this sound which fit like steps, O-tone, I don't know if it's a car, and some wind, explosion, something like that. Open for you possibility to watch and make your own decision. Of course, I build a structure, and of course the idea, concept depend on that structure, and what will be at the end, it will be my solution and my theme, which are different from a picture which I show and images which I show, and different from even this event. I mean the blockade, siege, and I have to create this, to have this idea, concept, and of course it exists in a film, but the rule was no voiceover, no music, because music is a comment, only in music which came from the window, for example. I have a little bit Bach from a window, somebody play piano. Few seconds, just few seconds. And it was in 2005. And since that time, I made with this concept, in different way, developed this concept from film to film, 8 or 9 films. And now I will show you a film which was commissioned by Opera Garnier in Paris. And they asking me to make a film from archive also for opera. And idea came to me before I have seen archive. I just spoke with the producers and asking what kind of type archive they have, and they explained that it's some performance, and after that we have a lot of, from 60s, 50s, a lot of archive from newsreels when King, Queen came to Paris with, I don't know, Charles de Gaulle or Pompidou. They just visited opera. And all of this visit was very well shot. Ah, okay. And idea, to make it in one day. Collect all of them in one day. Yes, just a trick, but I can use all these possibilities which give me editing and, and collect all of them in one day. Oh, it's very interesting. But it's not a theme of the film, it's just a trick, it's a concept. It's a way how I will build that. For me, it doesn't matter when it was shot. I create my body of reality, let's say, my texture, and unite the things which never exist together in one time, in one place. In one place probably, but not in one time. Yeah, it is kind of Centaurus, yes? And create some, for what? I will create idea. And I'm looking for this episode which will be like diamond, like a brilliant, on the top, and will express this idea. So after that, of course, they sent a lot of this footage, and we divide this footage when we watch it. And during this process, when we watch with the editor and divide that by different folders, we already edit film, already create structure, because this, criterion, how you divide this kind of action, or verbs, it's a verbs. From that verbs, it is already structure. And after that, just to make film from this footage, which divided by the different chapters. And maybe because I have this graduate education as a mathematician, it came from that, because the mathematics, as a physics, as all science, it's a way how we describe it, how we create encyclopedia of this reality which surround us, and maybe we can understand a little bit. Yes, not better. Better understand, I don't know, better from what? Understand or not? It based on the concept, and the concept create your vision. So, and now we will start from the beginning of that film, and I will stop a little bit and tell something. Oh, sorry. I use few shots, introduce place, and what is it? Crowd, figure on the front of the opera, yes. And after that, crowd. After that, this somebody press, and this is some tension, interest with these photographers, and ceremony with the guards, with the people who just, participate in that ceremony, and the picture of that entrance of this opera. Yes, just concept. We described that crowd and opera facade. Let's go. Second part. Well-dressed people, very nice, in diamond, in gold. Some of them recognizable, like Cocteau, and they arriving and moving, and laughing, and happy. Okay. Just point of view of the child. I always try to be child. I don't know anything about that. I would like to understand with my eye when I just move step by step in this space. Okay, next. So inside, in the hall, we have even more exciting people. A lot of famous, like Callas, Grace Kelly, Charlie Chaplin, and all are happy, and they move, the flashes and cameras. Even Pasolini, it was a Pasolini with the Callas. So, and the next, I have to describe what is inside. Theater. It's a little bit pausa, we move like expression more and pausa now. And now, new step, elite. It was middle class. Close to opera, it's a people. Middle class, upper class. Also, hierarchy. At the end, the British Queen. Before Adenauer, Khrushchev, and other guys. But British Queen, the last one. And now, small pause, they are moving before the most important and significant place in this opera. So, stairs and movement up. Yes, and of course, we made the sound. All sound does not exist, and it's just a picture. And when we edit, we already choose this music, and I just correct a little bit Mozart because it was not fit. But nobody can recognize, only Mozart can. So, and of course it must be this miracle flöte, the волшебная флейта, the magic flute, yes. And at the beginning and at the end also it's overture and the end of magic flute at the end, of course. And I play these kind of games and magic flute about this topic, and you will see because we don't know the topic about what this film. Okay, it's interesting maybe, but what is the topic? And for this movement, I just ask in Opera Garnier what kind of music they play when all these people, this orchestra, what kind of music, they don't have this information already. I didn't receive answer. And we use, of course, this is Republic, and I work in contradiction, and it is imperial fanfare. And it worked very well. With all this movement, with the ending. And for this episode, I used this guard like switchers between the switch out between the different episodes and inside episode. They work very well, like, the cement which keep bricks together. And also we're thinking about this movement from up to down and how to edit at the downs, from down to up, yes, movement from, and edit at the beginning here, and after that more and more and more moving up. And you can see all French president till end of 70s. And also the Sheikh of Iran, Khrushchev, Kosygin, I don't know, President of Mozambique, King of Nepal, and all queen and kings. So, yes, it's not a reality at all. If you're thinking about archive that this is reality, yes, in case of Stalin's funeral, yes, but here, no. So I just follow all ritual And this is very nice part of this ritual. And yes, and also pausa a little bit in between, you know, this very active and pausa. It's like, you know, based on classical structure. And now, political act. So, film is done. Yes? Avant-garde film finished here. No, I don't know, but it is without reason. It's well done, probably, but without topic. What is it? About what? Of course, this is structure, okay. It's more or less who's saying that art doesn't have a connection with politic direct, and opera is about that, you know. So yes, and what is next? What can be next? It must be something which stay in against all what we have seen. And we collect the energy now. We collect strong energy. And I was lucky that this episode exists because it cannot be like, of course, we have to follow this action and it must be performance, but it cannot be like a performance. The performance must be something. Yes? And thanks God I have this episode. Without that, I don't have a film. And after PC, postscriptum. This is structure. Yes, everybody who can have this kind of footage can build another structure, but I structure it like that. And what I try to say that exists something which are the more important than any king, queen, ritual, and I don't know, the all power people and power society, I don't know, forces, anybody, more important, most important, act of geniality, genius. It's most important, which like culture, it is only one, what is left after all societies, all. And this is what I would like to, put on the top of that. And comparing with that, act of nothing, nothing but everybody happy, because it's, it's a lot of people who asking, I don't understand opera, what is it? There's a place, people singing, and so what? It's nothing for them. But everybody happy. And comparing with this geniality, it's ash, nothing. All these people, they just came to be witness of this act. So, and this is, and also important what she is singing also, the text is fit to, you can say me what you want, and but I will stay on my own position. It's a kind of statement of artist, ma, this ma. So, and this is a way. And when I show this film to some French producers, and they watch it and asking me when it happened, I understand that I won. Because it's tricks, and also kind of magic when you create this one movement in one rhythm, which created one space. So, and this is for me what I can do with footage, with archive. This express my ideas and nothing comparing with historical events, nothing. Of course, I use some elements, some shots which was shot in some moment, particular moment. Khrushchev was in 1956 or 57 in Paris and was shot. But in this stream, this concept of this meaning we lose because he's a part of this show. And as all these sheikh and queen and king and etc. And only with the editing we create with all element which structured this film. With the music we create this and from chaos which exists in archive, like it's a chaos, and I try to make an order in a way how I just would like to represent my vision. This order represents my vision. I use that more or less with all films, which this method with all films which I made from archive. Even like I made a film about the funeral of Joseph Stalin. I was surprised that they have like 70 hours of this footage. 70 hours. They shot everywhere, and you know, it's a lot of work for many directors. I made only one film, and yes, it's also you know, I have to find the structure, how to structure that, and what kind of feeling of time. How I will work with the time, because they shoot like during 2 weeks. Okay, let's say from the moment when they announce about his death, like 5 days till the funeral, and I have to just show all countries, all country, like all these different places, and you know, it is always first question, what kind of concept, how you will build that composition. Composition have nothing with idea, but composition lead us to that idea. And this criterion I create for each film before I start work with. Like, and this criterion depends on the idea, of course. The film which I made, one of the last film I made about the bombing of Germany and Great Britain and other countries during the Second World War. You can imagine how big this you know, topic, and it's a lot of footage. It's like 10 hours of this, maybe 100 hours of that footage exist. And of course, before starting this film, I already have a concept, what I would like to say, what I would like to show, and how I will structure that. After I asked the people who are looking for this footage, I asked them to find that, and that particular picture. And of course, I divide also by chapters this film. And I would like to start it from the Germany, how it looks before, and end it with Germany, how it looks after. Like before, it's 1930, like 20s and 30s, and after it's 1945. Yes, and this is a line. I would like to avoid the who was the first, who was second, and because like cause and effect, yes, because cinema is art in time, yes, and everything what happened before defined everything what happened after. But it's not fit to our life, you know, and it's difficult. Some episode in cinema is very difficult to show. For example, the things which happened simultaneously in one moment is impossible, like revolution in 1917 in Russia, in St. Petersburg. You know, film October, yes? But it's fiction. It is like everything is like, but artistic. Like it's not fit what happened, but happened interesting things that simultaneously they took the important points which influenced the power. And they lose power of this the temporary government, they just don't have any connection to the bank, to other, like they don't have phone, they don't have electricity, and they're sitting in the center without anything, and it was a very, very smart idea by Trotsky, and he made this revolution. And he already thinking in a way like let's say the net exists inside his brain, the concept of net, not the concept of hierarchy in one line, because Lenin asking this, because they afraid to take responsibility for revolution, and they just try to collect a big mass of people and push them. And if something happened before this Winter Palace, and if some fighting happened, and after that, move them. Trotsky said that it's not necessary to do. Just, cut all sources and they are in our hand. Smart. No, but this concept for us now is very, but in that time it's very difficult to think in that way. Yeah, and why I just turned to that? Because it's impossible to express something in some ideas in cinema, because we have like art which exists in time. So, and if we have time, I will show 10 minutes. Okay. I will show something, just one episode, which, which one episode from that film. Yes, this one. One episode from that. Before it was an episode from Natural History of Destruction, where I show this the Germany, how it was, like how it looks. And after that, I just would like not to tell history, to describe history, but jump inside action, inside the tragedy. Yes, and I just watch some technical footage. It's a technical footage from the British, which was shot during the bombing from the British plane. And it's quite a lot of this kind of footage exists. And I decide to use it. Sorry. Just a moment. It's possible. Remove the light. Is it possible switch out light? good show. So, and my aim was to find a way how to present this horror, not to showing that, but get this impression, feeling, and live through that with sound, with picture, and also I use music which we made special for that. The compositor from Netherlands, he just made this music. So this is, if understandable, this is the concept, how I use archive and try to, I don't know, push the people to reflect on what happened with us. Thank you.
So, as we don't have much time, I open for questions.
Oh.
Who wants to comment or ask questions?
Good.
Wonder?
Thank you very much, Loznitsa, for this wonderful presentation. It was really very enlightening. And I was maybe drawing a curiosity from a film that you gave an example through the talk, which is Funeral State. And you were mentioning the importance of structure in the way you look at the footage and try to build a path, and you highlighted also the question of having an episode or a diamond moment, if you can say so. And I was wondering if this kind of thinking and to put into practice, into creating a work, if for instance, when in the case of Funeral State, you also have all the time we have as a spectator, we have access to the bodies and the gaze, the eyes of the people that were in different parts of the Soviet Union, and in a way they are all also telling us their own way of living this life, this moment. So they are in a way, how do you say, to shattering the structure that we as a spectator might have in mind of what that funeral might be, what that regime might be. So my question is, do you think that whenever these people look at us through this footage, these ideas that they give to us are in conflict with this idea that you have as an overall for the structure of the film? So it's something that you also have in mind, or it's something that is some sort of collateral good effect of the path that you chose?
I transform your question. If it's possible to make a film which was shot with 200 different cameramen. Possible. And State Funeral is a film which shot 200. We follow all this lab description because they just fix all these reels which develop and who shot that. And I have at least 197 cameramen. You know, all they have their own personality, but in a way how just film was made, you cannot say that this is like not one hand. You even don't think about that. Something like structure and way how you edit and the rhythm also, and way how you present let's say reality. Nobody knows what is it, but fixation of what we observe. Okay. Also, somehow unite this footage and these people and everything. I made this kind of experiment in 2008 when I made the film review when I collect the footage from film magazine, Soviet film magazine from 54 till 64, and made one film about the Soviet propaganda, concept of Soviet propaganda. And I was surprised. It was first time that I was surprised that it's possible to collect this different cameras and to make one unit from all of that. Possible. The method is somehow, give you this opportunity.
I think there is a question connected to this, which is a technical question, but at the same time I think it's really important in your work, which is how is your method? Do you anticipate the editing before going to the editing suite, or when you are editing, the clash of images appear by themselves and the flow of the editing appears only when you are dealing with the images in the timeline in the software?
You know, I'm like an animal. During the hunting, I just have a feeling if it's fit or not, and that's all. Like it's a harmony or disharmony when I just collect all of that. But I didn't think about this kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, but this excerpt that you screen right now, I didn't see the film yet, but it is very experimental in a way. So it seems that the editing was also very experimental, very.
Yeah, but
not you don't think a lot in these. It's the images that are giving the power.
Yes, but it was logic also in this editing, and you know, we have somebody who made already before us, 100 years before, 100 years, Walter Ruttmann, his experiment, short films, and Fernand Léger, and it was many people who just make this kind of experiment with the light, you know, and it's a kind of avant-garde cinema in the past. So, and I use that because I think that, okay, it's strange, first impression is strange to see what, you did not understand what is it at the beginning, and I would like to surprise, and we use sound, first sound, it is jungle, it's a jungle. Yes, and for music, when we discuss with compositor, first what I'm asking him, what kind of instrument? Let's just thinking about instrument, and because the main sound is engine, sound of the plane engine. Yeah, instrument we already knew. Yeah, it's cello. Yeah, and the concept idea must develop slowly, and it was performed by 8 cello orchestra. So with and what is this music for me? It's observation from outside. The point, it is point of view. Music is always point of view. And here I need this observation from outside. I need this point of view, which I defined by sound. And in sound, we heard something, what happened far away from us, and after closer, when we just recognize that the first plane appears, and after in picture I just use the most active part, a lot of flashes and a lot of acting, and after I add sound, I mean music, we added music, and after that we can hear the voices screaming and how the sound of this destruction also. And a little bit we develop picture, like have a dramaturgy in this editing with a picture more active, less active, more, you know, impressive movement, less impressive. And also we have dramaturgy in the sound. And at the end, we coming back, it's like sonat form, yes, and coming back, and as a PS, it's a conversation between pilot.
Yeah.
When they're saying a good show.
Last question first. If you can be short.
Yeah. Just really like to thank you for presenting those works, Sergei. I'm really looking forward to the film tonight as well, so thank you very much. I just had a really brief question about that beautiful first work you showed. There was one little moment there where it went into colour, and we saw the ceiling of the opera, which is I believe that's the Marc Chagall
Yes.
thing. And I just wondered, it seemed kind of different than all the rest, and I just wondered if there was something about that ceiling that you wanted to put in colour.
In colour.
Just to break the thing.
It's a greetings to Andrei Rublev.
Yeah. Classic. But it was a lovely
Some
moment.
joke.
Okay. So that's the question. It was just nice to see it up there. I've never seen it.
Yes, of course, because you know, we something opened for us, and this why just it is a lot of inside games in films, and it's not that I thinking about that, but just can recognize and realize after when it was made, because it's like, you know, it's a long tradition of let's say Soviet cinema, Dziga-Vertov and Eisenstein, and of course Dovzhenko and Parajanov and Tarkovsky, and it's impossible to escape to discuss with them and make jokes about them. So, for example, this State Funeral is a film about the funeral of Stalin. It's also a film which stay opposite to Dziga-Vertov film which named Lullaby. He made the film, if you know, maybe if not, just find and watch it. It's a beautiful film, and he described Soviet society which created by Stalin. And Stalin in the center of that society, and all society circulate around him. He's like a totem. So, and when Stalin watched this film, the film was released and was 1 week in cinema, and he watched it and he canceled that. Banned film, and Dziga-Vertov cannot make films after. He just made newsreels, and that's all. Because Stalin realized what he wanted to say. But Dziga-Vertov is an honest communist. He even probably did not think about that. He just honestly did his job, and he's a fantastic artist, and he feel with the nose what happened. And what I did, I just, I use also, he using lullaby at the end. It is a major lullaby, and I use lullaby in the end, it's a minor. And in his film, Stalin is alive, and he appears a few times. In my film, he is dead. It's more complicated. You know, I have a protagonist which is dying from the beginning of the film. And I have another reference, Hitchcock, The Troubles with Gary. You remember this film when somebody find the body of that man and they dig him, and after that taking him out, and you know, it's a lot of troubles with this Gary who was dead because nobody knows why, but everybody afraid. And this is another reference to this film, I mean the film State Funeral. And this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that you never know where your route, because we just not, of course, independent artists, but stay on the
Shoulders.
Shoulders of gigant. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to note that today at night at 9:30 we will screen the event with Sergei there also for a debate in the end. I hope you can join us. It will be in Cinema Passos Manuel, which is in downtown. In your programs you have the address of the place, but if you have any questions, please ask. We are going to meet again in 15 minutes for our next slot, and thank you very much, Sergei, for this wonderful